probably couldn't have made this video a couple of hours ago, but I've started to think about what it really means for Charlie to no longer be with us. Because I tell you what, I followed him for a long time, since the very beginning, when he used to sit down with a little desk, and he was like, change my mind, you know what I mean, with that kind of meme, you know what I mean. But last night I was at work in my house, and I've got a computer with about 5 monitors on it, and I'm watching all my students do stuff, and I've got Twitter open because I'm advertising my school or whatever, you know, posting some content on there, and a tweet came up, and another tweet came, another, and it said Charlie Kirk's being shot, Charlie Kirk's being shot. And I was like, that's mental. And I was like reading these things while I was trying to teach, you know, pretty unprofessional. I shouldn't have been. I was like, just having a quick look at it, going, that's mad. I put a quick tweet out myself, and I was like, you know, I followed Charlie for a long time, and I hope him and his family, you know, wishing them all the best at this difficult time. And I thought to myself, I haven't seen much of Charlie on Twitter at all. That's really weird. And then one of the posts, this is before the film started coming out of him being shot, it was just a picture, had his at Charlie, whatever it is, on Twitter, and I clicked on it. And I realized, this is weird, right? Check this out. I realized that I wasn't even following him. All right, I'll put it up there, I'll put it up here. Like, I wasn't following him at the time. I thought I better follow him. But I noticed something weird about that. If you have a look at it, he was following me. 5.2 million people following him, and I'm one of the 180 odd thousand people he follows. I wasn't even following him. Isn't that weird? He's that kind of guy there, you know what I mean? Maybe I've spoken about something in the past he's got an interest in, and he's followed me. And that was before I heard that he died. You see, it's kind of weird, man, because, like, I think for guys it's a little bit different maybe than it is for women. Because when you see a guy like Charlie who's doing the right thing, he's a Christian man, he's out there, like, relentless. There's words for it, isn't there? He's like, he's got a purpose. I'm still talking about him like he's alive. To me, you know, as a Christian dude, I'm Roman Catholic, yeah. I'm not the most practicing of dudes in the world, but I try and live my life in a Christian manner. You know, I genuinely do, and I catch myself sometimes, and, you know, debrief myself. What are you doing, mate? You know, but Charlie was doing that in a way that I wasn't even able. I'm a beginner when I compare myself to someone like Charlie, you know. And he was out there challenging these narratives, he was having debates with people. He was quite sharp with people, don't get me wrong. And you could argue he's massively opinionated. And of course, a lot of people didn't like him very much. But I just think there's an opportunity with this. And this is me being probably a bit of a dickhead. So by all means, hit the comments and tell me whether you think I am being a bit of a dickhead here. I think that, talking about Christianity, I spent my entire life in the church up until about the age of 23, 24. You got to understand, I understand this, and I always have done. When we lost guys on the squadron, I remember thinking, why that dude? Like, why has that guy crashed the airplane? And I haven't got any kids, right? I've got a wife and we've got pets, but I haven't got any kids. Why is, like, God taking that guy now when he's got kids? What is that about? Why not, like, take me? I haven't got any kids. I still don't understand it that well. But I kind of realized, like with Charlie, he had a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, he had a wife. I think whether you're a Christian or not, whether you believe in higher power or whether the universe is your faith structure, you know, I talk about fitness, family, finance, fuel, and faith a lot, don't I? Whether you believe that, anything like I'm talking about now, I ain't getting all spiritual and stuff, but maybe by removing someone like Charlie now makes the rest of us wake the fuck up, mate. You know what I mean? I don't want to be swearing on my channel or nothing, but what I'm saying is, maybe by taking Charlie, he's 31 years old, the rest of us can just have a look at what we're doing and think, hang on. There was a guy that was living a wholesome life, young kiddies. He was going out there. He was putting himself in harm's way, right? He was a man who had solid resolve. He was there. He was putting himself literally in difficult situations and talking to people that aren't the easiest people to speak to in the world. You know what I'm talking about. How many of us are doing that? I'd probably say none of us are doing that. Putting ourselves, in the spotlight where the authorities might come for us. A very unique individual. And some of the guys I flew with that were killed, they just burnt very brightly for a very short space of time, and we're lucky to have them for that period. Does that make sense? Charlie's one of those, I guess. He just kind of had someone like that, and his lesson to us all is only apparent after his death. Man, that's crazy. I guess that's just how it is with some people. You're never going to appreciate them until they're gone, until there's the absence, the candle has been blown out, right? There's just that seat that's empty at the table, and you're like, oh, I did really appreciate that guy. Like, that guy was important in our lives for all of us. I just didn't realize it at the time. I mean, there is a huge gap there now, isn't there? Like, God, And I tell you what, the great thing about Charlie was, he was unapologetic about his Christian beliefs. And yeah, you'll hit the comments and go, yeah, he was having a go at Jews or something, or he was full on with, pro-life or whatever it might be. You haven't got to agree with everything anyone says. You haven't got to agree with everything I say, crikey. But you can still respect the man for speaking his word. And Charlie did that. He spoke his truth, didn't he? You know what I mean? That man did. The amount of abuse he must have got. To be able to deal with that level of abuse as well, whilst trying to bring up a couple of kids and have a wife. And I tell you what, I get abuse on the channel here. It does get you. It just loads up. The volume he must have got. I guess that's where he leans on his spirituality and his religion a lot more. But so, what am I saying? I don't know. I think he's one of those guys that we're able to just have in our lives. Someone said to me once, very interesting, they said, Tim, this is your tribe right now. This is your tribe on the planet. In 100 years, there won't be an Elon Musk. There won't be a Queen Elizabeth II. I'm just, whether you like these people, I'm just saying, bring out names. There won't be a Kylie Minogue, you know what I mean? This is your tribe, like them or not like them. This is the people that you're living with on this planet. And I just think we're lucky to be able to say that we were here at a time when people like, Charlie were around and they could challenge these views in what is an incredibly difficult, very odd time. And whether it's all manufactured, I'm sure a lot of it is, we're still able to listen to a lot of what he said. And I think his absence hopefully will make us all better people. I was angry. I know a lot of people are very angry, and I was angry. I must have been like, until about 2 or 3 hours ago, when I just started thinking it through a little bit more. And I was like, the good comes of everything if you allow it. It does. And we just have to allow some good to come of this. Yeah, I'm still going to struggle with that, to be fair. And that's why we hit the gym, isn't it? Because it helps us release that anger, I don't know, guys. I'm not going to keep this long. I just thought I'd drop this in real quick and just see whether it's kind of sometimes useful to talk. And if you have any good memories of Charlie, whatever, whack them down in the comments. I'll be interested to read them. I guess thing is, I followed him on YouTube. That's why I thought I followed Charlie, because I kept watching his stuff on YouTube. I didn't actually follow him on Twitter at all. It's crazy. And for some reason he bloody followed the stupid stuff I was saying with my 20,000 followers. The dude had 5 point something million. Madness.